Hi everyone, we're students from Suzhou University, and today we're gonna visit a foreigner to ask about the institutions, the difference of institutions between our country and foreign countries. And today we're gonna visit Vigan. Hey Vigan, where do you come from?
I come from France.
France. I want to know know the education institution difference between our country and your country. What do you think about cram school?
Oh, okay. About cram school, it's something that we don't really have in France. Normally, cram school in France are only for students who have strong difficulties. Let's say I cannot speak English and my grade is really very bad, and then we go to cram school maybe twice a week just to improve my English or my math or something like that. But here in Taiwan, it feels like most students go to cram school to be the best they can be. And if you want my point of view, I'm not sure it's a very good thing, because all this time which is spent in cram school is time that you do not spend developing yourself by doing sport or watching or doing some art or whatever other things.
And almost every student in Taiwan should go to cram school.
Yes.
So another question is, do you know that our junior and senior high school students, they have 8 quizzes or even more in every day? They're in class every day.
Quizzes every day, you mean?
Yeah, every class to test. What do you think about this situation?
Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing, I think, because it enables the student to maybe the pressure that you have by doing tests every day is reduces the pressure that you have if you only take an exam every 3 months. So on that part, that's a good thing, and that makes sure that the students they do remember the previous day or the previous day's classes. The thing which could be bad is if it's really where the student has to remember to remember exactly the words that were spoken on the previous class. In this case, it doesn't really reflect the student what's the meaning of the previous class, but it's just repeating what has been written without understanding it. So if it's like that, it's not so good. But in principle, having tests every day, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Because there are 2 big tests between junior and senior and senior to the university. So in our junior high and senior high, we must write very, very much test. And so in Chinese class we test, in math class we test, in every test. Even the physical education, our teachers borrow it to test. If every student test every day, do you think those students really know what they are learning?
Not necessarily, but there are some things that needs to be understood, like for example history or all the social sciences. You might need to really understand what you are doing instead of just reminding it. But there are other things where you just need to know. How do you do it? Like let's say mathematics, you need to understand the reasoning, but you also need to be able to do it by yourself. And I think that having a test every day, in this case, it's a good thing. And maybe that's why Taiwanese students have the best level in the world in mathematics at the end of high school, compared to let's say US. For example, US is very lousy for the math. So on some part, I do think that the Taiwanese education system gets something right, because it gets the students to have such a very high level. So I think that these daily tests are good. But on the other end, I think that many Taiwanese students who enter, for example, the graduate school, they are not able to really think and develop their thinking by themselves, which is a problem. So it's really two sides of one coin.
So the last question.
Yes.
What's the difference between the students in Taiwan and France, do you think? The most difference between.
Okay. So you would say in for like university students, because I haven't been to high school here, so I don't know. But as far as university is concerned, I think that maybe at least for France, the French student might be more independent overall, but which means also that not everybody is really serious in doing their studies. So some can be just very lazy, and some might be very strong. It just depends on themselves. But the independence is good because it encourages the student to think by themselves, to develop their own thinking, which is really important. In Taiwan, I would say that where the students are less independent, so they have to work very hard, otherwise they will fail their study. So everybody can get, I think, a overall very good level. But because they are less independent, when they are out of the university, let's say they enter the graduate school or they go to start working, then maybe they might not be very independent or not ready to really use everything that they have learned during the period. Yeah, they can't really decide for themselves what should they do, and they need a lot of guidance. So maybe that's a big difference. One is independence, the other is guidance. But, on the other end, I think the overall level of students in Taiwan is probably better as far as pure knowledge is concerned.
Okay, thank you, Vito.
Hello, Vito. I want to ask about several social issues that both Taiwan and France are facing now.
Okay.
And first, before I ask the first question, I want to know your opinion about the refugees from Middle East to Europe.
Well, right now the world is having a lot of troubles. This is into war in Syria, for example. There are big problems also in North Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa. And so you have a lot of refugees trying to come to Europe, either because their country is at war, or because their country are not free, or because their country are extremely poor. Nowadays the world is globalized. Everything which happens in one place will impact on some other place. So in some way I think it's normal that these refugees try to find a better place, maybe temporarily or maybe forever. That's how the world is right now. So I think it's not shocking for me that there are refugees. They are in a very worse condition than us. And lastly, it's also the other countries, the responsibility of the other countries to try to improve the problem of the world, so people can stay in their own country. Because if you ask the choice of any refugee, if you prefer to stay in this country at peace, or to go to another country because the country is at war or because it's very poor, of course he would prefer to stay in his own country.
So, do you think the French government should keep sheltering those refugees?
Yes, I think that France should help to shelter part of these refugees. It's part of responsibility as a rich and peaceful country to contribute to help countries which do not have this chance.
Then I want to ask you, do you think those refugees may deprive French people of their jobs? Because most business France may just pay lower wages.
I do not think it will really happen this way for several reasons. First, if you have a refugee in France, for many, let's say, industries like the services, or the engineering, and so on. If you want to work in France, you need to speak French. So if you speak French, it means that you have got already. Even though you are a refugee, it means that you have already got an education, French education, and then that the first thing is that it contributes to give jobs to other people, like to teach French, to teach some skills. That contributes to give French people some jobs. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that, well, for this kind of industries, there are some clear rules about the salary, which makes that it's not because someone is foreigner that you should give him a lesser salary. You do not have that. Everybody is supposed to have the same salary for the same kind of salary for the same range for the same abilities. So I don't think it will really be a problem of depriving the French people with jobs. But the problem which can happen is for these low qualified work, where, for example, this is the construction jobs, where in this case a lot of companies will look for some refugees who don't need to speak French to work for constructing buildings, for example, undeclared. And that's a big problem. But that's not the problem of refugees, that's the problem indeed of the company's bosses, who do not mind to employ people whether French or not French and not declaring that.
So, English is not enough. If you want to work in
French English is not enough. Yes, that's the same in Taiwan. If you want to get a proper job in Taiwan, you need to be able to speak language.
Yeah. Because now in Taiwan we are arguing about whether to let Chinese people work in Taiwan. Yeah. And I want to ask you, what do you think about social campaign in your country? Because in Taiwan we usually hear from news that workers in your country fight for a better workplace.
So what do I think about the situation in Europe or in Taiwan?
And in your country?
In my country, well, it's I think it's a very different situation, for example, than in Taiwan, because let's say in France, after the Second World War, there have been a lot of social progresses which have been done, and to protect the workers. So in terms of salary, in terms of unemployment, like pension if you lose your job, in terms of healthcare. But little by little, because the economic is getting less good, and also maybe because of the politics of the government and these lobbies, economical lobbies, the policies tend to remove some of these rights that people have acquired after the Second World War. So in France, people are fighting because they try to keep the right that they had before. Try not to lose the right. It's not to win a new one. It's to keep the old ones. And that might be a real big difference from the situation in Taiwan, because I guess that here people try to get some new benefits, maybe a little bit more holidays or maternity leave for women or pregnant, this kind of thing. So that's a very different situation.
So you mean people in France is fighting protecting, but people in Taiwan is trying to gain more.
Yes, because in all fairness, I think that in terms of social welfare, Taiwan is doing much better than many European countries. There is very little benefit, for example, for stay-home mothers or for workers, or the salary is also quite low compared to the number of hours which are worked. So I do think that Taiwanese people, they do need to get better rights, yes, to get more.
Okay, thank you.
Before we go, I want to talk about the policy. And do you know the complex relationship between Taiwan and China?
Yes, I know. I like a lot history and politics, so I know about it.
So can you simply share your understanding about this
Okay. Well, it's a long story, but no, I think that well, there is a big problem now because China and Taiwan are two separate entities. However, China believes that Taiwan belongs to it, and Taiwan, in fact, acts as an independent country. So that's one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is that very few countries recognize Taiwan as an independent country because they do not want to have problems with China. So now Taiwan's problem is how can it survive, keep its independence, not only in the policies but also in the economics. So keeping its independence while at the same time having good relationship with China, which is a neighbor. So normally every country should try to have good relationship with their neighbor. So it's really a very difficult balance that Taiwan needs to find.
You may see the war between the blue one and green
Yes.
on the street or even on the FB something.
Yes.
Can you share about just this?
Okay, so what do you think about the blue and the green? Okay, well, I think there are really two antagonistic views of the status of Taiwan and its relationship with China. I believe, from what I've exchanged with people from both blue and green, I believe that many people who are blue would not be against going back to China if China was a real democracy. And people who are green, they definitely define themselves as Taiwanese and not as Chinese. I regret that there are so many tensions actually between the green and the blue, and that people can hardly sit together at the same table and talk about politics in Taiwan. I think it's very it's a problem that there are not more pacified relationship between people who have two different
And how do you think about the memorial home of someone who is controversial?
like a Chiang Kai-shek.
Yeah. Because something
Okay. Well, I think it's a good thing that this memorial hall is here, because it enables people to debate actually about it and to talk about their past. And the memorial hall initially was built indeed in memorial and for the glory, or for celebrating the glory of Chiang Kai-shek. But it doesn't mean that now, in 2016, it should have the same purpose. We can find a different meaning to this memorial, keep it in place, but maybe doing some exhibitions or doing some reflections about what does this memorial mean for Taiwanese people, both in good and in bad. Because I can't say that everything is bad on one side and everything is good on the other side. Everything is always between black and white. There's always a gray area, and I think this is definitely the gray area that needs absolutely to be discussed among Taiwanese people.
Between Taiwan and France, the medical treatment or healthcare. first question is, what do you think about Taiwan's healthcare or medical treatment or our national health insurance?
About the national health insurance, I think it's excellent, and I think it's actually better than in France because, for example, in Taiwan, you can get reimbursed for not only for the normal Western medicine, you can also get reimbursed for Chinese traditional medicine. You also get good reimbursement. Refund when you go to, let's say, the eye doctor or the dentist. But in France, in fact, the general medicine cares are generally quite well reimbursed. So I go to the doctor because I have a flu and he gives me some medicine. That will be well reimbursed. If I have a problem with my tooth, if I have a problem with my eyes, it will be very little reimbursed. And of course, there's no question of going to see a Chinese doctor or even maybe sometime, a physiotherapist or a chiropractor. This kind of little bit different, a little bit outside of the normal medical system. This one will never be reimbursed. So in Taiwan, I think the reimbursement is pretty good. I'm very happy with the quality of the medical. I don't remember the name in English. Okay. After that, in terms of healthcare, for me, I think there is one critique that I would give about the Taiwanese system. Although the public hospital, I think, is very good, but I do think there is a big problem is that there is a lack of a generalist doctor. Let's say if I have a problem, or let's say I have a muscular problem, in France, for example, I will go first to my own doctor. I can who lives near my place. He has this little office, and I go to his place and I say, oh, I feel pain here. And he will observe me and will tell me, okay, I think I'll give you some medicine and it will be fine. Or he will tell me, oh, it's more important problem, so go to the hospital, go to see this doctor in this department and get a treatment. But I feel that here, if I have a problem in Taiwan, I have to go directly to the hospital. I have to choose which doctor and in which department I have to go, even though I might be wrong. So that's a problem. And the second problem is that because of that issue, the doctors in Taiwanese hospital, they are flooded with work. I remember I've been to a hospital and there were 100 patients in half a day. So the doctor only had 5 or 10 minutes to look at you, ask you some questions, even if it's for important matters. And I think that's a big problem because if first people can go to the generalist doctor, maybe the job of a specialist doctor, let's say a heart doctor or any other kind of eye doctor, any other kind of doctor, their workload will be 3 times or 4 times less. So for me, that's a big problem with the Taiwanese healthcare system.
So you friends, you see a doctor and spend you a lot of time.
Yes. The doctor will not often spend maybe half an hour or 20 minutes at least to really look at you and tell you what's about. And then when you go to if the doctor sends you to a specialist, when the specialist sees you, because he has a letter from the generalist doctor, he knows roughly what is your problem, so he can also get faster to the point.
So have you ever seen a traditional Chinese medical science doctor in France?
Not in France.
In Taiwan?
Yes, I did. And I think it's excellent.
Excellent. So can you, do you benefit from our national health insurance?
Yes, I think so. Yes, yes. I mean, I have the national health insurance card, so I benefit from it.
So you can.
Okay.
Okay.